Hey, boys and girls. Your old buddy Don here. Yeah, the retired guy who was doing some flooring today. I figured I'd check in with you real quick. I've got some floor glue. I've got to wait for it to tack off before I can put the floor down. It's got about another 30 minutes, probably 20 minutes. I figured I'd go ahead and make a little video just for fun. During the process of being here today, this is Don with Adventures of the Broken Retired. Thank you very much for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe and yada yada. Anyway, when I first got the editing program that I've been working with, the fact that it was only usable and really only usable on the phone is still kind of a pain. But the fact that it was only usable on the phone has actually turned out to be pretty good, because wherever I happen to be when I come across a holdup, like I have now, I've got to let the glue sit for at least an hour, let it tack off or I can put the floor down. I was able to go into that program, that editing program, and do some work and put some stuff together. So what I did was, I had a bunch of pictures, okay? Had a bunch of pictures that, it's, for the most part, it's about stuff that I've mentioned in other videos on the channel. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to put a little intro in it. Then I wanted to put the pictures up, bring the pictures up, and then do a little voice overlay to explain what the picture is and why I put it there. So I figured out earlier on this morning, how to get pictures, or actually it was yesterday, maybe, I don't know, the days are all the same. I figured out how to get pictures from Windows in my computer into the program, the editing program, and I put some in there, and I've been working real hard to try to figure out how to manipulate the pictures the way I want. And last night, I came up with a thought, hey man, maybe if I try this, and pulled up my phone, and the pictures were all gone. So I don't know what happened to them. So anyway, this morning, I put the pictures back in, and have not figured out why they went away, but I do recall several times watching other people's channels and having them make comments about I was in the middle of editing and lost everything. So somehow I'm just like really not surprised that it happened. Disappointing, because you put out time and effort and bingo, it's gone. Where'd it go? Anyway, so I sat here a while ago. This morning, I put the pictures in there and I put them in order. And there's two big problems I've got. Problem number A, I want to put the picture on the screen for long enough to tell what it is, okay? When I first put the pictures on the screen, they last for 3 seconds. Well, I can't say what I got to say in 3 seconds, as you probably already very well know. So I piddled around. I got one of them to stay on. Now there's 10 pictures. I got one of them to stay on for 16 seconds, but could not make the other one stay on for any more than 8. So they're all in there for 8, except the last one I think is in there for 10. I don't know why it does that. And doing the number B is doing the voiceover. I have not figured out how to do the voiceover. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to post something for the effort that I've put out. I wanted to post something to see how it looks on the return. I want to sit in front of my computer system and look at it and see. And I don't want to look at it and see in editing or whatever. I want to look at it as it comes across on YouTube, the real thing. So what I decided to do, I figured out how to add text, okay? I added text to each picture, which doesn't stay on the screen as long as I wish it did, but you know, I'm still working through all this. But I got the pictures to come up. They're all hooked together. They're all going to go in one video. There's a little bit of text at the bottom that gives you a good idea of what the picture is. If you have a question about what the pictures are, put it in the comments and I'll be happy to explain it in a little more detail. Most of the pictures are directly related to stories that I've told. I told you I was a bass player, and one of the pictures is old Don back in the day. It's got to be a pretty old picture. I'm not sure how old it is, but it's got to be pretty old because I'm still playing the PV, and I haven't had the PV for, I don't remember exactly how long, but I haven't had the PV for probably, well, I do know how long, because my granddaughter Zoe came with me when I bought the Fender. So she was probably about 3, and I think she's 17 or 18 now, so I guess the picture is about 15 years old, maybe a little older than that. The newest it could be would be 15 years. I think it's playing at the Moonlight, because it's got a low ceiling. And there's a dozen funny stories I can tell you about each picture. Remember one time I talked about I was riding through the woods on a motorcycle, and Vine grabbed me around the neck and pulled me off the bike, cut my neck. That picture's in there. It's kind of grainy because it's old, but it's in there. There's pictures of the very first time I ever saw Barney taken through his jail cell bars at the Pound, and the first time I ever saw Ed taken through the bars of his pen. It was the day I told him, I promise I'm going to come back and get you, and I did. There's a picture. There's a picture of a swamp tour that we went on, and the swamp tour guy let Amy drive the boat. Now the funniest part about that is Amy has never driven a boat. I don't know if Amy's ever even been on a boat that was smaller than a cruise ship. So excuse me. So it's really funny. There's also a picture of our front yard after a real hard rain, which looks like the Amite River. And there's some other pictures in there too. I know that posting this, it kind of breaks my own rules for quality that I want, and I didn't want to remove sincerity, but I am just dying to post something off the editing program. And I'm dying to see how this came out. I want to see how it looks. And to be honest with you, my posting has been on the skinny the last few days, and I miss it. You post something, or I post something, and then I get all these comments that come in, and I get to talk to y'all, which is a great honor to me, which is a great thing. I really like that. It's enjoyable. There's a lot of people out there who just say, I guess it strokes my ego in some ways too, because a lot of people say very nice things, and it's just y'all are sweet people. Y'all are just nice. We the Adventures of the Broken Retired has a community of very, very nice people who just see good everywhere they look, and there's no way you can fault somebody for seeing good everywhere they look. So thank you very much for watching this little preview. I'm going to work really hard to stick this in front of all the other stuff that's in there, and see if I can make it all come out into one. Elmer's not with me, by the way. Elmer doesn't come to job sites. He's too lazy. He just lays around in the office. Actually, he's been seeing a lot of the remote for my ceiling fan. And I better watch out because I don't know what those two are up to. But he's been spending a lot of time with the ceiling fan remote in my office. I might have to have a little chat with the boy. Make sure his batteries aren't getting overcharged. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Y'all some fantastic folks out there. It makes me very happy. Don with Adventures of the Broken Retired, telling you thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for subscribing and thank you so much for everything. I'm just having a blast, and I'm having a blast because of you. Thanks. Good morning, boys and girls. Well, you saw my effort with the video, I hope. And I hope to be able to add this in as what they call this the outro, which I think is a horrible name, but who cares? Along with all the other wrestling that I've been doing to try to get this thing to work, this is my second attempt at doing this because 3 minutes into the video, just a minute ago, into the recording, I'm back to there's not enough storage in my phone. Everywhere I look in the phone says I got plenty of room, but when I get to a certain point, if it cuts off again, you won't know unless I tell you because it just blanks it out. It just stops. Well, I learned a whole bunch of things about doing this. Evidently, this is a GoPro. It's GoPro Quick. And I don't think it likes working with still shots. I can't control. It doesn't appear that I have the option to control the length of how long each picture appears on the screen other than short, medium, and long, or short, regular, and long. And short, regular, and long are not the same on each picture. You go to the timeline and you click on the pencil and then you click on duration and it shows 8 seconds for the long duration. And you go to the next one, and it shows 16 seconds for the long duration. And I can't change those. I also have been unable to control the amount of time the text stays at the bottom of each picture. You need to have enough time to read it. It's only staying there for a couple of seconds. I have not yet figured out how to change that. And it doesn't seem to be affected by the length of the time the still shot is on the frame, on the screen. What I wanted to do, I have the introduction, which is 11 minutes long, but I'm a long-winded guy. What I wanted that just to be just how it is on the screen, how it came across to you. But when the pictures started, I wanted to put just a little bit of kind of easy listening music in the background, volume down real low, just to give it something to break up the silence. It's coming up on 3 minutes here. It's a little over 3 minutes. Let's see if it cuts out. But I couldn't get the music to start and stop where I wanted it to. I don't know. It doesn't appear the options available. Now, this is one of the most frustrating things about doing this is I don't know if it's possible to be done and I can't do it, or I can't do it because it's not possible to be done. This is 3:35, 3:40, so maybe I made it through this time. It's very, very difficult. So I don't know how to control the amount of time each picture's on the screen, how to put music only in sections where I want music, and how to control the amount of time the text is on the screen. I'm working on it, trying the best I can. My fuse gets a little shorter every time I turn this thing on. Something else very interesting that I learned this morning was last night and this morning, I was sitting there drinking coffee with my phone, going through my phone, making some changes, learning things as I go, arranging things in an order. And when I came in the office here at 7 o'clock, I switched over from using the phone to using the iPad, which is supposed to be identical. And the information from the phone did not get to the iPad. So, it's just going to take time to learn. I understand. I've got to, this has been a good lesson in controlling your temper, controlling your frustration, knowing when to walk away. There's a difference between walking away to regather your thoughts and walking away to go get a hammer. So I've been trying to avoid going and get a hammer. Anyway, bear with me through it. I'll do the best I can for you. Trying hard, working hard, suffering terribly. Elmer hasn't been any help, but what do you expect? So just wish me luck, boys and girls, and please send your comments in. If you know stuff about this program that I don't, please tell me. Can it be done? Can it not be done? At least if I know it can't be done, I'm not chasing it. So, Don with Adventures of the Broken Retired, working as hard as you can to try to make sure to put out a decent product. This is the first effort. I know it probably sucks, but it is what it is. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for being there. Thank you very much for all your comments. And I'll hopefully see you next video. Have a good afternoon.